Football, sliced and diced with Sedgemoor FM and Somerset FA. So today we're going to be talking about refereeing, and I want to talk to Richard about refereeing penalty decisions.
Well, welcome to Sliced and Diced. We're going to talk openly and honestly about refereeing and refereeing decisions. I'm Richard Melinn. Been a referee for many years, locally and nationally. So this is Neil Fellows from Sedgemoor FM, and Abby is trainee journalist, stepping in for Paul Colton.
Before we get into talking about refereeing and penalty decisions, which I want to really talk about, let's just I just want to very quickly say, if you're a fan of a local club, if you're a player with a local club or an official with a club in Somerset, please do subscribe to the channel because you want to make sure you get all of our latest uploads as we talk about grassroots football on this podcast. Today we're going to be talking to Richard about refereeing penalty decisions and a few other bits as well, which we're looking forward to doing.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it, yeah.
You've been refereeing for about 40 years, is it now? Coming up to, and so how did you first get involved in refereeing?
Well, I played locally. I played until I was 28 years old. Got a little bit fed up with playing. I didn't like losing. And I don't know anybody that likes losing, but I didn't in particular like losing. I wasn't a chatterbox on the pitch. I was a person that would make tackles, get stuck in, and I played midfield. I was involved in 3 accidents, which changed my mind in the end, and that's why I decided to pack in playing. And my best man at the time, bless him, he's passed on now, he suggested that we take up refereeing, and I said, no way. No way. How could I referee when I play the way I do? But as they say, the story is there, and I started refereeing in 1984, and here I am now. I have a career. I've had a career, and I have another sort of angle on it now, doing a little bit for Sedgemoor FM on the Saturday afternoon show.
It's not just been like just refereeing though, is it? Because you've been out into the Middle East recently. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, that was an absolutely fantastic opportunity, whereby my friend had a phone call one day from a colleague working at Crystal Palace Football Club, and the question was, do you know anybody that would go out to the Middle East and train referees? And he said, yeah, I'd have a go, he said. And he said, but the job is a 2-person job. And he said, do you know anybody else that would go out with you? And he made a phone call to me, he asked me, and within seconds I said yes, but I didn't check with the wife. But in due course I certainly did check with my wife, because like I say, going to the Middle East, I was going on my own with my friend, and we went out there for 2 years, and we've had 2 fantastic years. But for family reasons I've had to come home and look after the family side of things, and I've basically retired from working life, although I still am strongly involved in football, and developing young referees at grassroots level is my passion nowadays. I'm
kind of, we see on the telly, we see all the Premier League games. We obviously with VAR and things like that now, we've got a little bit of hindsight. Also, watch a lot of games at grassroots level where referees obviously have to make decisions without that kind of support. When you're out there in the middle, how easy is it to make those decisions and have that feeling that you've just made an accurate decision?
You asked how easy it is. It's easy to make a mistake as well as it is to make the right decision. You have to be focused. Yeah. You have to have all the support training that is applicable to giving a performance that people are satisfied with. Yeah. As a referee, you can't go out there and be the only person that thinks it's a penalty. You can't be that only person. There is something wrong if you are the only person that thinks that's a penalty.
From watching games, like, you might be the only person who thinks it's not a penalty.
That's true. That goes the other way, of course. So the situation then about being the only person that doesn't think it's a penalty, that's a matter of opinion, as every decision is. It's a matter of opinion. But performance involves positioning, physical movement, making sure you're in the right angle. And ultimately, every referee, every footballer should have a good football understanding and understand what's expected and match the demands that the game requires.
Yeah.
The game has moved on since I first passed my referee's exam, and the laws of the game have changed.
Yeah.
So laws of the game, knowledge is hugely important for a referee to have laws of the game knowledge and go out there and display in front of people, because those people will expect a performance from the referee that satisfies everybody involved, every participant, from the tea ladies, the people watching, the managers, the coaches, the players, everything. You've got to satisfy the whole situation, and it's a game. It's a game of management.
Yeah.
It's a game of management.
When you refereed a game and you're sitting back in your referee's changing room, and there's you and there's the other couple of officials in there, do you ever look back at some of the decisions on the game and go, yeah, did I get that right?
Yeah, every game, every time I go back into the change room, if I were that referee, I self-analyse what I've done. If I don't have assistant referees on grassroots, I self-analyse what I've done. But what I have to be making sure that I don't do is get distracted by what I did in the first half, and it impacts on my performance in the second half. It's a case of park it, move on, analyse it after the game, but don't chew on it during the game, because you'll miss another decision. It is a case of continuity and thinking. Make the decision. Don't be influenced by others who think differently. It has to be your decision. All your training has to come to bear fruit and give you a good performance. Support your profile.
Yeah, must be quite hard to do, to be able to make a decision and then kind of cut that off in your mind and kind of move on.
Yes, it is, and that comes down to training. I mean, young referees coming into the game are not going to be able to give the performance of a referee at the Premier League level. That is not possible, no matter what anybody might expect. So young grassroots players, under 15, say on a Saturday morning, Sunday afternoon, they have a referee, 16 years old, just passed, going out there to try and enjoy the game that he loves or she loves, because all referees love football.
Yeah.
Now, people sometimes do forget that we're all human and we do love football. But to be able to give a performance, you've got to do more than just read a book. You've got to go out there, you've got to practice, you've got to get the theory of what you want to try and do in a game and project it into your performance. Do you think Monday to Friday about your game on the Saturday or the Sunday? And do you think, what will it look like? Can you visualize it when you're making a decision? If I have to make a decision about a penalty, I need to be in a good place. How do I get that position? What movement do I need? Where is the ball going? What is the phase of play? Is it on the right hand side, the middle, or the left hand side? You've got to adjust your positioning and movement without being in the way of the players, but have a position to make a judgment of, yes, it's a penalty, no, it's not a penalty, it's inside or it's outside the penalty area.
You've just stolen all of my questions. So if you were giving some advice, say, to a young referee, what would that be? What would be like the number one thing for them to...
The biggest thing for young referees coming into game is understand football. You can't learn everything from a book. You have to go out there and you have to be willing to try things, listen to other people that are giving you open advice. There will be a little bit of, let's say, biased in some of the advice you're given, but at the end of the day, you are the sole individual that's there, appointed by the FA, to make that decision at the game, and it has to be you that makes that decision.
Now, obviously, refereeing is quite a serious topic, and you're kind of like the police on a football pitch, really, aren't you?
It does have that edge to it, yes. But the thing is, and I'm sure I have to be careful here because I'm not a policeman, obviously, but when you're on the pitch or when you're out in the street, you need to communicate. Yeah. You need to make eye contact with people. Yeah. You need to sort of, if I say, use the Collina eyes. If everybody knows who Pierluigi Collina is, he was the man that invented the stare. Yeah. If you can look at somebody and you don't have to say anything. And you have an effect. You get people thinking. The thing that I say about football refereeing is don't fill in the spaces. You're not there to do that. You're there to make a decision about the challenge by the person, the foul if it's a foul, no foul if it's no foul. Was it a good shot? Was it a good save? Well done, well played. Why not be part of the game and enjoy the surroundings with the players? Okay, the players know that if you wear a black kit or whatever colour kit you're wearing, they know you have a responsibility to uphold the profile and the image of the game. So the balance of that's enough player, this is the last time I'm going to speak to you before I have to use a yellow card, or if it's worse, I might have to use a red card. Then you are going over that line. You've drawn the line in the sand, as they say. The player knows where things are. So you give the player the last warning. No more, that's enough. And then when it happens, you've set everything up. But visual communication is a big thing as well. I use my hands. This is what I want to do when I'm talking to players. Please don't do that. Please don't do that. If you stand there and people are watching you, what is he saying? Oh, he's probably telling him off, or he's probably asking what did he have for tea for breakfast this morning. But when you're using visual gestures, it helps people understand the communication that you're making.
Yeah, nice. I was saying about the seriousness of your role, but you can't referee for 40 years and not have one or two funny things happen to you. So obviously we've asked some questions, we've done a little bit of background research here, so we know one or two little stories that
I've had
happened to
one
you.
about involving a pasty. How did that come about?
I was on the line at Plymouth Argyle, and it was opposite the Mayflower side. If people know Plymouth Argyle, they know where exactly I am. I'm the assistant referee on the opposite side, and I didn't give an offside. I think it was an offside, and I got pelted with pasties. For me,
at least you've been Cornwall for it.
I was in the best place. Yes, yeah, I was in the best place to get hit by an oggie. But my character, I want to break things down. I don't want things to be, controversial or anything like that. I don't study for that sort of thing. So I picked up a pasty and had a bite. And I got a cheer. And then that soon broke up that potential sort of, further comments, misconduct, abuse that might come from the crowds.
Yeah.
I just broke it all down in my own particular way. But I wouldn't say do that to every time you're down at Plymouth Argyle. It was a one-off. It was a one-off.
And of course, as you say, they've got the pasties going for them down there in other parts of the country. That probably wouldn't work. Also heard something about your haircut and Everton fans.
Yeah. Short story, this one really. The night before the game, I was doing Exeter versus Everton in the FA Cup. And again, I was the assistant referee. This time I was the senior assistant referee at Exeter. And the night before, I decided I wanted a haircut. I needed a haircut. I needed to look good because it was Everton, and I thought Premier League. You got to look the part.
Yeah.
So I said to my wife, have you got some clippers to just give me a little trim? And yeah, she started trimming my hair. And then my daughter said, "Can I have a go, Dad?" I said, "Yeah, all right." So she got hold of the clippers, and I don't know, to this day, I still don't know what it looked like because I never checked. But during the game, where my daughter had been using the clippers, there was a bald patch on the back of my head. And of course, in front of the Everton fans, did I get some... I got a bit of rabbit, let's say that much. They were taunting me for a long time. And the game ended 0-0, so, they never went home happy that day.
No, gosh. So, serious question to finish off with. Recently, the FA have released a statement about conduct of players and the club officials at grassroots level, because the conduct has got worse.
It's blatant again.
Yeah. And what would you say if you were given a message to clubs, to the officials and the players about the conduct and the importance of good conduct?
My I'll start at grassroots and go to the middle of the game, middle of the promotion ladder, up to about, let's say, Bridgewater Town level, maybe just a bit above that. I'd look to say, let's work together today. I wouldn't go in the change. I wouldn't arrive at the ground and shut the door and no one sees me until 5-3. I want people to work together, let them see each other. If you leave the door open to the referee's changing room, everybody can look in, peep in and see who it is. Oh, hello, Richard Melinn. That sort of thing. Not everybody's going to pop in, but at least it's an open door that doesn't just, reject everybody with the door closed. Yeah. I remember doing that many, many times. And I would just recommend to young referees, to the referees from grassroots and upwards, think about it. Think about how you're going to work with the teams, how you're going to work with the clubs, because there are players out there that will give you a bit of a rough time. And so consequently, you need to identify those that might come walking past your door, might be a bit chirpy, and they might be chatterboxes before the game. And maybe if you recognise what that player's wearing, the colour of his boots, if he's not wearing his numbered shirt, then go out on the pitch and remember the player wearing the orange boots, he was the one that was chitter-chatter. And he might be the one that's going to talk to you throughout the game and try to run the game and try to get into your head so he gets the decisions for his team. Yeah. So it's a game of theory and practice together, and don't go out there without being without willing to communicate. That is the biggest thing that I would say to any referee. Communication is massively important.
If you've enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to the channel. And if you want to get extra content and support the channel, then check out the Patreon link in the description.
Welcome to Sliced and Diced.
Hang on a sec.